Welcome to the Once Upon an Island podcast. I am your host, Wesley, and today I am joined by...
Mary.
Wow. You are the co-host, so of course, why wouldn't I be joined by you? Except for last week when... You know, I almost said on the podcast last week that you weren't feeling well, and then I had to edit that out because I thought people might think that you have the coronavirus, and you definitely do not.
You could have just said I didn't. I just didn't feel good.
It was too late. It was too late. It was an unrecoverable mistake that I said out of my mouth.
Yeah. I'm sorry for missing last week.
I know. We just had an exciting merge episode of Survivor. We're going to talk all about it, but first I do want to thank the Patreon, the patrons on the Patreon. Your guys' support is making this possible. And if you are not part of the Patreon, you totally can join. And the benefits of that is you get all the videos weeks before they go up. Literally tomorrow, Mary. This might be exciting, not for you, but for other people. Yeah, there you go. The Brian Heidick story is going up. It's 46 and a half minutes long. Second longest story I've done. Longest winter story I've done by quite a bit. So literally, if you join the Patreon now, as you're listening to this, there all of Tylen's videos this very second all of Tylen's videos will be up, which is exciting. And of course, if you join, you can pick which survivors I tell the stories of, which is another cool feature. And you can talk to me on YouTube, Facebook. I don't care. You can talk to me on Instagram. That's not exclusive to the Patreon.
Yeah,
you just get extra attention. Just joking. I really don't care. But anyways, yeah. So we got the necessities out of the way. Let's talk about it. We start the episode with the edge of extinction, which I was a bit surprised by. I was surprised they didn't just start with the challenge.
They've been doing that recently. I mean, it seems like every episode starts with the edge.
No, I mean, they didn't just start with the challenge with the edge people.
I see.
Because they had to show us that they had like a little, like, what was that, like a fill-in option? Like, here's your menu, check mark what you want. And we saw a bunch of people take advantages. A few people couldn't. I mean, Yule didn't have a chance of even getting one. He just got to the edge. Mm-hmm. How was he going to get a token?
Not that it even really seemed to matter at the end, but...
Well, I mean, two of the people at the end were people who had advantages.
Yeah.
But we'll get there when we get there. So, Yule, Parvati, Amber gave away her tokens to Rob, though, which I think we could have saw
sweet.
coming. So adorable. Yeah, I think we could have saw that one coming, though, if I thought about, like, who's going to give their tokens away. Yeah, Amber to Rob. So like pretty much everyone buys advantages who can. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was just Rob and Natalie who bought an idol as well. Did Parvati buy one? Because Parvati, she just didn't have a token.
It was just Rob and Parvati. I don't think, I mean Rob and Natalie, sorry. Yeah. I don't think Parvati had enough. Yeah, Parvati
didn't have an advantage, but man, she beat Ethan out that gate. So unfortunate. We were really rooting for Ethan to come back, but I don't know if I see it coming. I don't see Ethan's story's been more about survival, like literal survival this season versus winning the game. So I love Ethan. I'm not sure if Ethan, hopefully he comes back, but if I recall correctly, their menu allowed them to have up to 3 advantages. And I felt like it was a very odd strategic choice that multiple people opted to instead buy 1 advantage and an idol. And now everyone who did that is still sitting on edge with an idol in their pocket, which is I don't think.
I mean, would you have done differently though? Like it's smart. It's not.
I was actually about to say yes. I would have bought all 3 advantages and risked my life in a game where there's 11 other people. I feel like if there's any time to truly hide, no matter who you are, except for Rob, I feel like Rob's the only one that can be like, I see why he needs an idol. I feel like anyone could have hid in this massive group. It's a lot harder when your tribe's like 3, 4, 5 people.
Well, for Rob, it was the smart choice.
Yeah, but Natalie also bought one. Who's afraid of Natalie?
She was the first to go. I'm sure she was a little...
She should have bought 3 advantages.
She was just trying to be smart.
I wonder what the other 2 advantages would have been. Maybe like your sticks
probably
half
didn't have
done
to tie
the door or something, or the door just opens.
No, you probably wouldn't have to untie your sticks from the net. That would probably be one of them.
Yeah, that would have been okay.
Not dig.
Not a huge deal.
You did the other one.
The not digging, I think, was what.
So I'm not sure what the third one would have been.
It definitely none of them would have benefited you on the snake, which is really where you win that challenge.
And that's the most difficult part.
And actually, I'm a little bit disappointed that Sandra didn't just try to go through this challenge, because I really feel like everyone has a chance in this challenge. If I rewatch The Edge of Extinction,
have you seen Sandra in a challenge?
I have, but what I'm saying is I rewatched the last year, and even Reem and Keith, who suck at challenges, were in on it on this challenge, on this one. The other one, the one at Final 6 where Chris Underwood got in, that's
I mean, how much do we really know about Riemann challenges? Like, she wasn't in that many.
Well, we watched her in 3 challenges.
Yeah, 3 challenges.
Okay, you know what? Right.
How many challenges has Sandra sat out?
Bro, are you like, get out of here?
No, I'm just saying, for Sandra, it's sure she should have stuck it out to get on the jury. But
that's what I was gonna say.
But she doesn't care about that. She's never cared about that. She's only ever cared about winning.
I think we missed out on seeing Sandra on the jury. It's the only thing she hasn't done in Survivor.
Because she doesn't want to. She doesn't care about it.
You know what?
She wins or she doesn't win.
That's okay. Anyways, I'm not like begrudging Sandra for leaving. I just wish she had waited till after this challenge to leave. I think after this challenge, be like, oh, you're still on the jury, because it's not quitting to leave Edge. It's quitting in the other season if you didn't even try to go to Edge. It's not quitting the season to leave Edge. So, as we've heard Jeff talk about on social media. So, anyways, we're missing the bigger story.
But Sandra wasn't there, so yes.
We're missing the bigger story, which is that Tyson and Rob, I know editing made it look like they were within inches of each other, but I feel like you don't get that shot of Rob's ball like being inches away if the challenge is already over. Rob's not like, oh, I'm still going to try it. Yeah. No, they had to be.
Sure, they were extremely close.
Flipping close. And Tyson pulls it off. Mm-hmm. Was it a peanut butter boost?
Without advantages.
His advantage was peanut butter.
Yeah, his advantage was peanut butter, sure. I'm sure it helps. He did
have an advantage.
He had one advantage?
Didn't he have an advantage? Yeah.
I don't remember.
If not, I'm even more impressed. But I think he had an advantage. We just got done watching the episode, in case everyone's wondering, so we haven't rewatched it. Right. But I'm pretty sure Tyson had an advantage. I'll let me look it up on maybe the Survivor Wiki has it updated. But what do you think about Tyson coming back into the game?
I'm excited for Tyson. I enjoy watching Tyson. He's a fun player. I was a little bit surprised by his emotional speech that he had right before the challenge. Just because he did. I mean, you can tell he's a big softie at heart, but I just didn't really expect that. So definitely the Edge got him emotional and brought his walls down a little bit. But I'm excited to see him back and play. I'm excited his name wasn't dropped like at all, except by Jeff.
Jeff's totally throwing Tyson underneath the bus.
Yeah.
You know what? I rewatched recently Tyson winning Blood versus Water, just the finale, and he cried like the moment like his votes started coming up, he was crying before he ever knew he won. Maybe he suspected he was going to win, but I think Tyson, as he's gotten older, we remember him as like the sarcastic, funny guy, and he is. But I think
being a dad's changed him for sure, for the better.
Yeah, I think the Blood versus Water, he didn't have kids yet, but he was still dating his girlfriend Rachel. And she was on Blood versus Water. So he didn't have kids yet. But I think Tyson, just as he's gotten older, has just become a bigger softie. I'm having trouble finding if they listed who bought advantages. I don't know if Survivor Wiki was prepared for that, but I'm looking. But yeah, I'm excited Tyson came back in. Even though Rob would have been fun back in, I think Rob probably wouldn't have made it past. He would have had an idol, so.
He wouldn't have made it long though, and I think Tyson has a better chance. Yeah,
I think Rob would have been targeted, and Tyson coming back in is like, I think between him, Natalie, Ethan would have all been good people if they came back in. Like I don't think they'd have been targeted. Amber, if she come back in, I don't know. Like now that Rob's out, would have Amber even been considered?
Probably not.
I almost feel like Rob should have loaded up on Amber, but Amber didn't seem like she was very good at the challenge anyway. So even with the advantage, what would have done really? Yeah.
No, what I was going to say was like, at the merch feast, they were all like, yeah, it's all old school players or whatever. And like it wasn't brought up that Tyson was an old school player. It was just like he just naturally fit in, or they weren't thinking of him in that way. Or that's how it was edited. Yeah. So it's like they're not really considering him as part of that group or part of that threat.
Tyson like toes the line. Because he played in a couple of old school seasons, if you consider the Cutoff Heroes versus Villains, which I think Ethan's on social media kind of declared that the other day as that's the line. And of course, then again, in this episode, Tyson talked about how he's an old school player because he played in Tocantins. I almost messed up that, let's say. But yeah, he won in a newer school season. But I think most people still consider him older school because he was a returnee that season. So yeah, I think he toes the line in a way that like it makes it interesting. Like he is used to a more modern game, but he also played in an era where old schoolers, respect him. So a very interesting line. I'm not sure. I don't know if Tyson could pull a Devins and get all the way to the end, only to get beat in the fire challenge by an up and comer.
Not, but
what I'm saying is But let's just, I guess, let's go straight to the immunity challenge from there, because nobody was talking about Tyson straight out of that challenge. And on Edge of Extinction, Devins comes back from that challenge, and first episode they're talking about getting rid of Devins, and then Julie Rosenberg's like, no, that'd be mean, like as if it matters. And I don't think that was the deal breaker on why they didn't get rid of Devins.
I'm sure.
But it was in the episode. However, Tyson wasn't even mentioned as a name, and I'm like, oh, thank the Lord, because Tyson. Ooh. And you know what's different this year than they did in Edge of Extinction? You remember how Devins and Chris Underwood got like half idols or they got an idol, but it wasn't good until like the second tribal council?
I don't remember.
Okay, so they came back from Edge, and they had to survive one tribal, and then if they did, they had an idol. Chris had one, and Devins. Tyson didn't have one.
Yeah.
Which means the Survivor, I think, heard the outcries because people found this to be unfair for Chris. I don't think it was unfair for Devins. I think for Devins it was fine because he came back to a group of like 13 people, but Chris came back to like final 6 where it's only good for like 2 tribals. But anyway, so they didn't give it Tyson. So he's really gonna have to earn his way to the end. Like whether he finds idols on his own or just socialize his way. He's already socialized his way past one tribal, and I'm impressed. I applaud him because I was expecting Tyson to be targeted right away again.
No, it seems like he'll make it pretty far. Yeah, it's, even in the previews for next week, doesn't look like he's in trouble. But I mean, you never know.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at the Survivor Wiki. It doesn't seem like. Maybe I gotta click on this specific episode. It doesn't seem like a specific episode. It doesn't seem like anyone. It doesn't seem like that's something they were gonna keep track of. Man, when are they gonna do a double episode? I'm looking and I'm looking. Episode 8 was today, right? Yes. This is where the battle begins. What it's called. Next week's called War's Not Pretty. The week after, the Full Circle. No double episode. Surprised. I'm a little surprised. They usually do double by now, but. Let me click on the episode. Maybe it'll tell us. But anyways, moving on. So they go to the immunity challenge, and Jeff says one man, one woman gets to win immunity, which is great. I actually do really enjoy when they do this, and they do it. I think they do it almost in every modern season at the merge. I actually wish they would do it not more often, but like maybe do it twice in a season because they seem to only do it once a season. I think it just makes the dynamics more interesting. But Denise wins, and.
You called that.
I did call that. Well, I just look at Denise. How do you not call that? But then,
those challenges are more. They are physical, yes, but it's also a mental thing, and
yeah,
there's other women that I thought maybe could do it, but
yeah, and then Jeremy won. I almost said Nick, but no, Nick lost. Very close. I was interesting because Tyson once again had won this challenge, albeit it was 10 years ago in Tocantins.
And it wasn't raining.
It wasn't raining, nope.
And he hadn't just got off the edge.
It was really nice water. He hadn't just, really nice weather, and he hadn't just got off the edge. So the circumstances were a little different, but he had won this one before. It makes me wonder, though. I didn't see, it's hard to tell whether someone's really struggling up there. Unlike Sophie was clearly struggling up there. But did Tyson, the question is, did Tyson purposely lose the challenge to help lower his threat level?
It is possible. I could see him doing that, but I could also see him just not being able to do it.
Yeah.
At that point.
You know what? I think it's possible, but I'm going to give Tyson credit and say that even if he didn't plan on losing the challenge, him losing the challenge helps. And not being like at the end because if he was right there with Jeremy, like Nick was,
yeah.
I think Tyson's talked about.
Yeah.
And I think him dropping out like middle of the challenge where nobody's truly paying attention. He didn't drop out so early where it's like, well, that's suspicious. Tyson's better than that. But he dropped out early enough where it's like Tyson wasn't even in it. So,
Could be.
Yeah. I think whether it was on purpose or not, I think it does help his threat level. And the big reason he got through a lot of blood versus water is because he had that injured arm that actually had healed after like maybe a week or so. And he just kept playing it up like it was still injured to lower his threat level. Yeah. Tyson knows all about lowering his threat level. So if you were to take a shot right now, there are 11 people left in the game. What place does Tyson finish in? And we're not counting somebody coming back from Edge. How far do you think Tyson gets up is what I'm saying.
I'd say in the top 6.
So you think he makes the finale?
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know if he makes the finale. I would love if he does. I just don't know if he does. I think the winners here have to have learned the lesson about Chris. They just saw Chris Underwood win a week before they came out to the season. So, and they would just watch Devins have like... no matter what you say about Devin's social game, he was about to win Edge of Extinction if it wasn't for Chris. And he came back at the same spot Tyson did. So I think they got to be uber aware about these people who come back from Edge, coming in and possibly winning. So I think Tyson probably has a few more tribals in him, maybe two or three. I'm hoping he gets to the finale. I'm not trying to curse him. This is in the past though, so I can't really curse. But I hope he makes it to the end. But if he doesn't, I feel like Tyson probably got 2-3 tribals for somebody. Like, we need to get Tyson because he's friends with everyone on the jury who are all old schoolers. Possible. Yeah. Yeah, they're all old schoolers. And so is Tyson. That means they're all friends. And then everyone was acting like, oh, we didn't even know. All the old schoolers voted out. Oh, I just noticed. Oh, Jeff, how did you? What? Bro.
It's like because they were in front of the jury.
Yeah, what? I had no idea. That wasn't my goal at all. I doubt it. I highly doubt it. Why was Yule voted out for real? Like, come on now. Well, how did Yule go over Wendell? I feel like Yule...
They explained that.
So Chrissy Hoffback talked about on Rob Has a Podcast last week. She thinks Yule went home because if he makes it to the end, if he slips by and gets to the merge and gets to the end, he has the whole jury of old schoolers on his side. And I think same goes for Tyson.
That he doesn't have relationships with, though. Like, Yule has said he's not, like, tight with anyone.
Doesn't matter. I think Yule's such a smart guy. You get him in that final tribal council, he's gonna talk his way to a victory.
Yeah,
he's gonna talk his way out of. I could be wrong, but I feel like she's on to something there, whether that's the whole reason or not. But yeah, I'm glad Tyson got back in. Jeremy wins individual immunity. I don't think he was going anywhere anyways. Denise wins. She could have been talked about. At that merge fee, she was like, "Oh yeah, I knocked out Sandra."
I think her name definitely would have been put down if she hadn't won.
I don't think Denise has ever been a threat before. I mean,
no.
I'm guessing she's never really been a threat before. I've seen her season, but what I mean is that she's not used to this position of.
Well, what is she gonna do? I mean, they're gonna talk about it. They're gonna find
out. Yeah, but nobody
out.
knows that she tricked Sandra out of the idol.
No, Sandra came up to her and offered fire tokens. No, I think that helped. Like, if I was thinking about it and I knew the story was going to get out anyways, I would try and spin it as Sandra just made this dumb move, so I had to take advantage of it. I mean, like, anyone would have done the same if they were in my position. Sandra took herself out, kind of thing.
I don't know if I 100% agree with that.
How else would you spin it, though?
Okay, so think about this. Sandra sold her the idol.
Yes.
Right? For 2 tokens. See, she only gave her 1, so I'll give you 1 afterwards. Mm-hmm. Okay, no one knows about that deal. No one was there to witness it. All Denise has to do is say, Sandra gave me the idol. She doesn't have to say she tricked Sandra out of fire tokens.
She didn't say she tricked her.
Oh, sorry, you're right, because Denise said she gave her fire tokens.
She said Sandra walked up to me and said, "Hey, I will give you 2 fire tokens if you if you give me
fire tokens, I'll give you the idol." Yeah.
So like she made it seem like Sandra approached me. Sandra came up with this deal. I was just sitting there by the fire, minding my own business. So, like, this fell into my lap. What was I supposed to do?
Yeah, what was I supposed to do? I had to knock out Sandra.
Right. So, I think that was her way of trying to say, I'm not really a threat, guys. Yeah. But still, obviously, I do have something on my resume.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm sure they asked, how did Sandra get out?
Yeah, they did.
What I'm saying is that I'm sure they asked how Sandra came out, but I feel like she probably could have downplayed it more. I just don't think Denise is used to being like a target or a threat. And This is a new position for her. She's probably not used to it.
Well, I would say more with the scene of her and Jeremy, where she was like, well, yeah, it would have been me. And then she kind of like brushed her shoulder. It was like, but I'm smooth. Like that's where you're like, okay.
Yeah, a little arrogant there. Little Brian Heidick for those who are about to watch that story.
But I thought when she told the story of how Sandra got out, she handled it well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, she could be a target in the future.
It came down to Wendell, Adam, and Nick. Now, if you had your choice out of those 3, who would you have wanted to go home?
I don't.
It doesn't matter. Just who do you like the least?
I thought it was going to be Adam.
Yeah.
Just because of the edits. They fooled me, sure.
Aha.
But sometimes if I was there and if I had been in those conversations, the ones that they showed, obviously. I probably would have gone for Wendell.
Yeah. Before Final Tribal, I said it was going to be Wendell. Going. I feel like they've done this trick all season where they set up 2, maybe 3 targets, and the last person they talk about is who you're supposed to think going in Final Tribal, oh, they're going to get Adam because that's the last person we just saw them talk about.
Yeah.
Which is how it works in like old seasons. But Modern Survivor, it's not. It's someone buried in there. So it's one, in this case, Nick would have been the one buried, but I didn't feel like the Nick train really picked up at all. It was definitely, it felt like it was either Wendell or Adam, and Adam being the last one they showed made me think it was Wendell.
I just thought if it was going to be Wendell, that Michelle would have had more of a hand in it, and it would have been like this big revenge thing.
Because she voted with Wendell.
Yeah,
she didn't get her comeuppance on Wendell.
Yeah, so that's kind of why I thought it wasn't Wendell. But
you know what though? It seems like for 3 episodes now they've been setting up a Michelle comeuppance on Wendell, but then behind like our backs, I feel like she's working with Wendell, like giving him a token and voting with him, and that like I don't care how much they have lover spats on camera. I feel like they had to have the opposite so much more. They're just not showing us, because you can't just have lover spats like that and then not vote for each and then not want to get rid of the other one. I don't know.
So it's either it's an act or they're just not showing everything.
No, I think the show is just setting Wendell up to be a little mini villain. I don't think I obviously Wendell and Michelle are working together. Like obviously they never voted against each other. They were never going out and saying, "Hey, I want to get Michelle. Hey, I want to get Wendell." Like people who actually really don't like each other would do. So I don't know. Anyways, I'm glad Wendell's gone. I think Wendell had a little pout fest going out the door too. If you look at when he was walking before he gave his fire token, the way he's walking is like he was like a teenager, like, oh, I don't want to go do this, Mom. So it looked like not like picking on Wendell. It's just the way he walked like made me think like he was like, oh my gosh, like he knows he has to spend. It was this day 2021. He has to spend like almost 3 weeks on. No, I'm sorry. The Edge challenge last time was 36. Anyways, it's like 2.5 weeks he has spent on the Edge, and he knows it. He knows what he's about to get into.
Yeah, but you would do the same.
But I feel like Natalie, out of everyone, should have been the most like, oh, because she got on day 2, and she was by herself for multiple days. Like, oh my gosh, like at least Wendell has like 7 people there to hang out with and people to talk to. You know, Natalie. She's just been just like Reem, man, just sitting there.
I was hoping she would come back. I like Natalie.
I feel like as of right now, another question: who is left? Who do you think has the best chance to come back next time? Because Natalie and Rob have an idol sitting in their pocket. They have zero reason to buy another idol next time. Yeah, and they got plenty of time to gather up tokens. But I think Natalie's fresh out of tokens. She had 4, she burned them all. Rob used his 3 tokens, and Amber's, I think she had a token. Amber only had the one from the fire log thing.
So he doesn't have any idols.
But he has an idol. He bought an idol with his 3 tokens. So him and Natalie have an idol. They have no reason to buy another one at the next challenge if it's even an option. Their best bet is to buy as many advantages as possible, and then if they have more tokens, buy food. Do the Tyson approach. Buy the peanut butter. Do you think Tyson still has the peanut butter?
It was a big jar.
It was a big jar.
I doubt it.
I bet you he polished it off before that challenge.
Probably.
Yeah. So he didn't go to the merge, and they're like, Tyson, what's that big round thing in your bag? Oh, it's just my secret stash of peanut butter. And they're like, oh, Tyson, no. But he's like, no, for real, I really have peanut butter. No, out of everyone right now, I feel like Natalie has the best shot, even though Rob was like so close.
Natalie has a good shot, but I think Rob still has a good shot of getting back in. I don't think he has a good shot of getting in and winning.
No, I don't like Rob. Rob would have to be a miracle worker and win. Get in at 6 and then win every challenge, which I don't think he is going to do. I think Rob's still good at challenges. I just don't think Rob's the best anymore. But I think Natalie has the best chance of getting in out of this group so far. So Wendell's voted out, and we're down to 11. Tyson wasn't even mentioned as target. I hope he lasts. I hope he goes through the next couple episodes. I'm wondering if maybe they're not doing a double episode because of this whole Corona thing, and they're getting in good viewership. So maybe they're just going to do single episodes every week. They have no reason to rush through episodes because they got time.
Sure.
It's possible.
Makes sense.
Very possible. As of right now, I'm calling it. And I called the whole episode we were watching. And if you heard me on Rob Has a Podcast last week on the B&B, I projected 3 people as I think either going to the finale. These are 3 people I thought were going to the finale and winning. There's 4 people I think are going to the finale, but 3 who I think have a shot at winning. The 4th one is Michelle. I think Michelle goes to the finale.
She just doesn't win.
I just don't think she wins. I think Michelle has a redemption story going on, and she's had it going on all season, where she's trying to prove how her Korong victory wasn't, she's trying to prove she's a better player than how people perceive her, I think, basically. So I don't think she goes to the end and wins. She could be in the final 3. I just don't think she wins. I think she has like a good season. So I think she gets to the end, to the final 6. And then I think you have Sophie. Sophie has been getting a lot of airtime for someone who I don't remember getting a lot of airtime at all in her first season, where she actually did win. I think she has a lot of time this season, in a season full of big personalities. I think she's set up to go to the finale. I don't know if she wins. Nick is another one. I know Nick has been super under the radar, and it's a bit disappointing. I feel like Nick might be a goat, actually, at this point. I think Nick might be dragged to the end and then beaten because he didn't do anything.
I could see that.
Yeah. Which in a way, I remember in Dave vs. Goliath, he's like, well, I think my biggest move was back at the final 12 when I played, because Nick didn't build up this huge resume in Dave vs. Goliath. He just survived.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, like the final few challenges, he won immunity to get rid of the Goliaths, and he went up against Mike White, who is already rich, and Angelina, who I will love forever on Survivor, but she was never really a threat to win. I think Nick had a fairly easier final 3 than he could have if he went. If like Christian was on that final 3, he was done. He was done. Christian was going to win. But anyways, my point is, I feel like Nick is going to go to the finale, but my winner pick is Tony. I'm locked in. The rest of the season, I'm on Tony unless Tony gets voted out. If Tony gets voted out, but I am locked in. There's way too much Tony content, way too much Tony talking about what Tony thinks, what Tony wants, funny Tony scenes. Why are we getting so much Tony if Tony isn't a major contender? If he was going to go out, he's not going to get all this content and all this positive content.
Unless someone comes back from the edge and takes him out, and that's their one big thing.
That's possible. It's possible Tony is like the Rick Devens of the season, and is knocked out at the final 4 fire making. Crap! I hate that you said that. Now I hadn't thought about that.
I just don't think he's got it to win.
I think Tony,
just because he's getting a lot of airtime, doesn't mean he's going to win.
Tony's going to win. I'm calling it.
Okay, you can call it.
I called it at the merge last season when I called Tommy winning. That was way more straightforward, though. Way more straightforward.
Tommy's a little bit of an easier winner pick than Tony.
But Tony's gonna win it. Tony's got this. It's either Tony, Nick, or Sophie. I wouldn't be as excited about a Nick or Sophie win, but I'm way more excited about Tony win. So I'm rooting for Tony. Come on, Tony.
I don't even know if Nick will make it that long.
She didn't even do it with me.
No.
I'm deeply offended, deep in my soul.
Well, if you'll win, you'll be a genius.
First cut is the deepest. Baby,
no one signed up to listen to that.
Yes, they did. That's why everyone's listening. We're almost 30 minutes in. They're like, oh, Wesley's already singing. Wow, this is the first, actually. I don't know why I said he's already singing. But yeah, so that's where we're currently at. Next week's another single episode. I'm really hoping that they pull another one on us like they did the premiere. The premiere counts as one episode. I'm hoping they do like a 2-hour single episode that's not the finale. It doesn't have to be a double episode, just like a 2-hour.
Is it normally the merge
episode.
when they do a double?
Sometimes, typically the double is somewhere after the merge. Like Ghost Island, they did double the very first episode. I think Game Changers, they did a double episode the very first one. Like they did first and second episode the same night, but the premiere this year counted as just the first episode, not 1 and 2. So I'm very curious as when the back-to-back episode will be. But I'm hoping they don't. I'm hoping they just give us a random 2-hour one out of nowhere. I don't know if they're going to do it. They couldn't have predicted this coronavirus. Because if they had known this coronavirus had taken off like back in January, I bet you they could have extended these episodes. I feel like I don't know. It might be too much of production to ask, but
be a lot of re-editing.
I don't know. Right after the episode is done, Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood's doing like a Facebook live video on national television at like 9 p.m. singing music. So who knows? They could. They got the time apparently. Where's SEAL Team? I don't watch SEAL Team.
Isn't that over?
I hope so. All the SEAL Team fans out there. No, but my point is that they're showing such low rent content, such as Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood like doing basically a Facebook live video on national television. They got the time. Let's get longer Survivor episodes. Like take those secret scenes, smash them into the episode because they already got the music to them. Mm-hmm. They just got to color grade and color correct them. That's the only thing I think is off about those secret scenes. The color, it hasn't been graded and corrected. For the layman, it just doesn't have the same like saturation contrast. It doesn't. I'm not even talking layman.
It just doesn't.
Yeah, it's not. It's almost like straight out of the camera. No one's touched the image. Is basically how I would describe it.
No
as someone who knows how that works. So I don't know. I hope though. I really hope, man. I really hope now is the time. Let's get like the last couple episodes to be 2 hours. That would be amazing. Or an hour and a half.
Start a petition.
Just like It doesn't matter. Yeah, Once Upon an Island with his 3,500 subs started a petition. No, if anyone's gonna get it done, it'd be Rob has a podcast. He has the followers. But anyways, we're over here rambling about nonsense. Anyways, guys, thank you for listening. This was super fun. It's much more fun having Mary on than me talking to myself.
You could talk to a wall and make it sound good.
Yeah, I doubt it. Thank you, though. I mean, I could. I guess that's all my videos are, talking to a wall.
I enjoy being here, and I missed it last week, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, she was feeling ill, but not coronavirus. Oh, the kittens are sleeping. Okay. So anyways, yeah, next week we're going to try to do this weekly until the end of the season. We like talking about Winters at War, plus we got the time now. I mean, who doesn't really? But yeah, so... Thanks for you guys for tuning in. As I said, if you want to join the Patreon, all the Thailand videos will be up as of April 2nd. So if you want to watch them now, go for it. Otherwise, the Xi'an video, which is the first Thailand video, will not be up on YouTube publicly until April 13th. That's the way the schedule's laid out. So anyways, I just want to thank you guys for listening and tuning in. And we will see you next week. Bye.